So I'm super excited. Hello, welcome to November. I'm going to try to read or reread the entirety of the Stormlight Archive series because on December 6th, the fifth and final book to the kind of part one of the series is coming out and I'm so excited about it. I've been like kind of trying to reread the series like for half the year. I started like months ago rereading them, but we've just been so busy lately and so I just have not had a good chance to actually reread it. I'm doing Way of Kings. Woo! Way of Kings. I am super close to being done with this. I am 768 pages into it out of 1,000. That's the other thing. If you're not familiar with these series, all of these books are 1,000 or more pages. I have a little over 200 pages left in this. I am going to finish this by Sunday night. It is currently Friday night. Okay, really quick, I just wanted to jump in here. Sorry if I sound a little off. I feel as though I was like grazed with a cold recently. Let's begin. Obviously, I filmed this video back in November in anticipation of Wind and Truth, and I genuinely had the fullest of intentions to read all of the Stormlight Archive books before Wind and Truth came out. But what I did not anticipate was the election taking quite as big of a toll as it did on me, and this is filmed like right through that week. So there were a lot of clips in this vlog originally that were like of me kind of reeling and dealing with that. So I ended up removing nearly all of the clips that like kind of talk about that. There was a lot of me being like, oh, I'm not accomplishing anything and I feel so bad that I'm not accomplishing anything, and just, you know, kind of a lot of that. And I sat on this vlog for obviously several months, and I really wanted to post it because it was the very first vlog that I ever like shot, and now it'll be the second vlog that's on my channel, but it was like the first one that I did, and I don't know, I still wanted to put it up for reasons that I express actually later in this video, so I'm not gonna like rehash that. But I did want to pop in here really quick and say that I have since cut a lot of this vlog. I obviously do not reread all of the Stormlight Archive books. In fact, in this vlog, it's basically me just finishing Way of Kings, talking about it, and I bake some cookies, and you know, there's a little bit of me reading, and it's kind of very chill, very low-key. I did end up reading Words of Radiance, but I kind of didn't vlog like any of that experience. I ended up reading it throughout the entire month of November, like trying to hustle my way through it. It was honestly not super worth vlogging at that point, I felt anyway. I have since read Wind and Truth. I even filmed a review for it that I was like super proud of because I looked cute, the lighting was fantastic, I felt like I articulated everything that I wanted to say about it so well. And then I went to edit it and there was no audio. Just nothing. I was really, really devastated, and I have yet to refilm it because I was like, it was so good. I felt like that video was so good, and now I have to refilm it, and I'm really upset about that, but you know, we move on, we try anyway. There are some spoilers throughout the vlog. I do let you know in the vlog when they're coming up with text. There's also timestamps in the description, and I'll put them in the comments as well. Also, this one section where I go into this kind of like really long and frankly a little unnecessary description of the Way of Kings. If you are super spoiler sensitive, then maybe skip it. I have like a block of text that happens like right before, so you know that I'm going into it. I personally don't think there are any spoilers in that. I don't think there's anything in that that is super spoilery, but I know that some people can be really, really sensitive to like what they consider a spoiler. So just know that that is also in here, but everything should be properly marked. So if you want to skip around, you can absolutely do so. I hope you like this vlog, and I just kind of wanted to let you know what you're getting into before you get into it. I will say though, regardless of how this vlog ends, regardless of how far I make it into this reread, I will be reading the fifth book the day it comes out. So that's where we at, like 200 pages left in Way of Kings. I'm so stoked. I really want this to be like very vloggy and very like November-y, but because I can't get videos from my phone to my laptop, I'd have to like carry my camera around everywhere, and it's not subtle, it's not cute. That's also gonna be like a whole thing. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. We'll see how this vlog goes. But anyway, November 1st, I will check in with you if and when I actually read something. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next clip. I did some reading yesterday, but yesterday was like deliciously unproductive. My boyfriend and I just sat on the couch and we just like watched a movie, watched YouTube videos. I did a little bit of reading. I am around like 840-ish pages, which is pretty good for only reading a little bit yesterday. I'm gonna try my damnedest to finish this today. I'm gonna make some hot cocoa, eat a donut. I have a cat. I'm also going to try to edit and post a video today. It was supposed to come out before Halloween. It's like a spooky recommendation video. Hopefully it's up by the time you're watching this. I was supposed to put that up before Halloween, but then I got like bogged down with the like Kindle and Kobo stuff, those videos. And so I'm glad that I got them up, but I'm also a little bit sad that I missed out on posting that before Halloween. That's the plan for today. So oh, baby. She just fell right off the table. I don't think I got that. Oh no. She's all sitting over there now like nothing happened. Oh, poor baby. Are you okay? Are you okay? Yeah. Are you okay? Oh, look at this poor little girl. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. So, update, I am really close to you. Let's not be so close. I'm like, I don't know what the proper amount is. Okay, so update. So I'm 165 pages in. I read like 25 pages. So I think I'm gonna go edit for a little while and probably make some tea, try to drink some actual water. And that's where we're at. But the goal is to finish Way of Kings today. I've got like 135 pages. Math. I have a little over 130 pages left in Way of Kings, and I do think that is super doable. It's still pretty early. It's 10:20, so yeah, I think we've got lots of time. Yay. Okay, break. Okay, hello. Hi, it is way later in the day now. I've been editing for like several hours. It's 1. I think last I left you off, it was like 10:30, and I've been kind of editing ever since. I still have not done. To nobody's surprise, editing takes a really long time. I feel like I underestimate how long editing something is going to take every single time, and that's a little frustrating, but we're gonna go back into Way of Kings now. I pulled out my Kindle just because through editing my wrist has started to hurt a little bit, just like the way that I sit. So I was like, I don't really want to hold up a big book, so I just switched over to the Kindle. Here we go. I think I'm gonna pull out the blanket though, because I'm a little chilly. This is the blanket that my mom made me, actually, which is really cool. She's very talented. Oh my gosh. Anyway, now I have to figure out where I am. Oh my god, I'm so sleepy. There's a part of me that like kind of wants to take a nap. What's happening? It's the beginning of the end. They're doing that final like plateau assault on the plains where Sadius fucks them all over. Ooh, I love this part so much. It's like so intense. It's so good. What a banger fucking ending to a book. Ooh, I'm so okay. Diving in, super excited. I think I have like about 100-ish, maybe like 150-ish pages left. We're going, we're trying. Okay, hi, hello, welcome back. I finished Way of Kings. I can take that out now. I finished it today on my phone at work, so not last night. Sunday was a bit of like, I read basically all of it up to like the last 20 pages, and then I finished that today. And then the video that I was trying to upload and complete yesterday just didn't upload it, like wouldn't upload, which was really frustrating. So I had to wait till that's done. Yes, okay, so Sunday was a little bit of a flop. I read like almost all of Way of Kings. It was getting really late. I had like 20 pages left, so I just finished it today at work. And I also was trying to upload that video. I swear to God, I started uploading it at like 7 or 7:30, and by midnight it was stuck at 94%, and it was so frustrating. So I'm re-uploading it now and hoping with all my fingers crossed that tonight it will actually upload, because I don't want this video to be any later than it already is. I finished Way of Kings. I love this book so much. It's crazy. Like I think I mentioned, this is my 3rd time reading it, and I still tear up a little bit at the end. Hi, do you need to do that right now? It's what I thought. I still tear up at the end. It's so good. It's just such an emotional ending. It's just so, there's so much going on. There's so many great moments. I love Kaladin being so heroic. I love Dalinar giving up his sword for all of the bridgemen. It like always makes me tear up a little bit. Kaladin thinking of Tien, and Tien's like last moments are really tragic. And then Kaladin saying the words, like kind of really truly beginning his journey to like become a Radiant. And it's all just really good, and it's all really emotional, and it always makes me feel. Yeah, so this is really, really good. This is so good. I just wanted to film this like really quick clip. It's already kind of late tonight, but I'm still going to try to start Words of Radiance and still try to finish it by Sunday. It's currently Monday night at like nearly 7 p.m. so we're already failing, but that's okay. As long as I start Words of Radiance, that's all that matters. So that's where we're at. I just kind of wanted to basically update you and say that I did finish it. I'm waiting for this other goddamn video to like upload. What else is there to say? See you guys in the next one. Okay, hi, hello, update. Still fell asleep last night reading Words of Radiance and waiting for that stupid video to upload. It didn't upload last night, so then I had to upload it this morning and like leave my laptop on and go to work. It was like a whole thing, but it did finally upload. I'm gonna fill out my ballot and I'm gonna go walk down to the library, drop it off, come home, be here for like 5 minutes, and then I have a dentist appointment. It feels kind of fitting, I think, to have dentist appointment on election day. Kind of hilarious, but yeah, that's what we're doing. I'm just really tired. I'm like out of it, man. I'm so tired. We're gonna vote and then go to the dentist. Okay, hi, hey, it's me again. I voted, walked down to the library, voted it up, walked back home, and That actually all happened a lot faster than I thought it would, so I have a few minutes before my dentist appointment. So I thought I would finally talk about The Way of Kings because I finished it and I said I would update you and then I kind of never did. So to recap Way of Kings really quick, and I guess like I haven't talked about the Stormlight Archive series or what it's about yet, mostly because I assume if you're watching this, you already have experience with Stormlight Archive and have presumably already read the Stormlight Archive books, at least the first one, so that's kind of why I haven't said anything, but I guess if you're like still here and you don't know. The Stormlight Archive series is Brandon Sanderson's epic fantasy series. It's this incredibly large and dynamic and interesting world that he's created. The series is really about this upcoming like desolation. There's, in the past, in this world's history, there was this big event called the Desolation, and these creatures called the Voidbringers, and it's so long in the past now that it's like basically myth. You know, everything about this time is so unknown and people don't even know if it really happened, and there have been kind of these rumblings that potentially this event is going to happen again. And so we follow all of our characters as they like exist in this world, kind of trying to figure out their own lives, and this desolation is very much this like, it's like a low hum under the rest of the story, and it just kind of gradually builds and builds and builds throughout the series until it becomes like a very real part of the series, and it's so well done. The first book we follow Kaladin, Shallan, Dalinar, and Adolin. These are our four like main characters that we start with. The first book is predominantly about Kaladin. Throughout each of the Stormlight Archive books, they tend to focus on one character, and by focus on that character, I mean there are flashbacks throughout the book, but the flashbacks pertain to one character, and usually the flashbacks are about this character's life leading up to a specific event that has been like teased for us. And so we're just kind of like throughout all these flashbacks trying to figure out like, oh my god, how did this person get to this event? Like what happened to this person, or like why did this thing happen? And that's kind of what all the flashbacks are like leading up to. So you get to learn more about the character through that, and honestly it's structured so well. I really love it. Normally like flashbacks are very hit or miss for me, and I tend to lean on the side of miss. Honestly, most of the time I feel like flashbacks just feel really unimportant, or like they're trying to shove in information that's unnecessary, or that might honestly be better served with the character just like explaining what happened to another character in a really emotional scene, as opposed to like drawing out these continuous long flashback scenes. But in this series specifically, it's always really satisfying to watch these characters go through their lives. You vaguely know what it's building up to, but you also don't know so many of the details around what events they're leading up to. So it's always really interesting to see, you know, how we got here, but also there's like this mystery that's like lingering kind of in all of these flashbacks. So it makes you excited to go back to them. There's also interludes. Each book is split into a few different parts, and between each part there will be a section of interludes, which is usually like 3 or maybe 4 or so chapters. They're little small chapters, and they are usually other people out in the world. Like they're these delicious morsels of world building, and it's so cool to see. I really love those little interludes, and Brandon Sanderson will do this like wonderful thing where he'll sneak in an interlude. Like they're all very world building, right? So they're very fun to read, but there's also this level where you're like, oh, it's just like a cute little thing. But every once in a while, like there will be an interlude where you're like, wait, what? And then it's just over and you never see that character again, or you're like, what is this person doing? What are the implications for the world? And it's so interesting. And because the 5th book isn't out yet and the series itself isn't finished yet, I'm just so curious to see if some of these interludes like really do have bigger implications for the world, or if a lot of these are just little moments that you get. And honestly, either way, I'm fine with it, but I do really hope that some of them, especially, there's some very specific ones that I have in mind that I really hope they have like bigger implications for the world. Like I'm just very interested and kind of want to see some of these other characters again. And sometimes you do. Sometimes the interludes follow characters that you actually do see again, whether in another interlude or they eventually become perspective characters themselves in later books. So it's always really interesting. Like everything is happening and it's super exciting. So I mentioned 4 characters that we follow at the beginning, or at least in this first book, and they're kind of our 4 like main characters. Even though we get lots of other perspective characters later in the series, these are kind of like our four main guys, and that is Kaladin, who this book predominantly follows. He is a young boy who was being trained to be a surgeon, and through some unfortunate life things became a soldier, and then eventually became a slave, and we're kind of following him. We see him at the point of him being a slave, his flashbacks. This book, The Way of Kings, is Kaladin's story, so it's Kaladin's flashbacks, and we figure out what happened in his life to make him go from being this like really revered soldier to being a slave, and you know what happened to his little brother, and there's like all these mysteries and we're kind of learning them. Also through Kaladin's life, we're following him as he becomes a Bridge 4 member, which is like a really special kind of hateful form of slavery, and we follow him as he just grows as a person and becomes who he's meant to be. I guess that's really vague, but as he grows as a person and as he becomes something special, something different. Then we follow Shaolin, and I know a lot of people say that Shaolin's stuff in this first book isn't very exciting, and I do get that. Like upon rereads, I'm always like, okay, I do understand, but I always think Shaolin's stuff is interesting. She's very scholarly, which is something I love. She becomes the ward of Jasna Colon, who has, oh my god, okay, how do we even talk about Shaolin? So Shaolin comes from this kingdom that's kind of like a little bit desolate. Her father just passed away, and her brothers are trying to keep this secret from everyone around them. So she devises this absolutely insane plan to steal from Jasna Colon in an attempt to bring like some money and some fortunes back to their family. Their father had a lot of debt, so she goes to steal Jasna Colon's Fabrial, under the guise that she wants to become her ward and like learn from her and become very academic and very scholarly. And so we're following Shaolin as she learns more about the world, as she falls kind of in love with being a scholar and has to decide ultimately if she's gonna steal from Jasna or not, and if her family's worth it or not. So I really love Shaolin's stuff, and honestly on this third reread, I realized that it's not a lot of the book. I don't feel like Shaolin is actually in this first book a lot. She feels very sprinkled in. I really don't feel like there's really a lot of Shaolin. Oh, I have to go in a couple minutes. So that's Shaolin's story, essentially. It's very, very quick. And then you have Dalinar and Adolin. Adolin is the son of Dalinar, and Dalinar was the brother of the king. This whole series starts off with the King Gavilar being murdered. He's the king of fucking Alethikar. Names in this series are all over the place. So he's the king of Alethikar, and the Parshendi and him he was trying to strike an alliance with the Parshendi, and the Parshendi betrayed that alliance by sending an assassin after him and killing him, and that's how this book like starts. And so the Shattered Plains, which is where a lot of this book takes place, is this big war that's been waging for the last 5 years. Dalinar was Gavilar's brother, and Adolin is Dalinar's son. And we see Dalinar's perspective as he's trying to win the war. Like he's trying to navigate these high princes and politics. He's never been one for politics. He hates them, but there's a lot of politicking that's been happening in the camp, and his nephew is now the king, and the king is kind of weak. Like a lot of people are constantly trying to take advantage of him. So Dalinar is trying to help him and trying to save him, but he himself is not very politically minded. And on top of that, he started having these strange visions during each high storm event, which is just like this like massive crazy storm that ravages this world. He's been having these visions, and people are starting to think that he's going crazy. So his opinion does not have the weight to it that it maybe used to. And Adolin, his son, is trying to rifle or wrestle with the idea that his father might be going insane and that he might have to take over his place. But honestly, Adolin, like, after reading this book again, I love Adolin. I adore him so much. I think he's one of the most adorable, precious little beings in the whole wide world. But he doesn't really play like a huge role in this book. Like he really doesn't, he really is just so you get another perspective from him, and he doesn't even have his own like chapter heading. He's usually under Dalinar's chapters. Like you get from his perspective, but not nearly as much as you're getting from the other three people's perspectives. So Adolin is definitely in this and definitely a perspective character, but not nearly as important yet as the other people. But I do still like, I adore him. I have so many hopes for Adolin. I have so many dreams for him. Please, Mr. Sanderson, make them come true. Yeah, so that is The Way of Kings and kind of what's happening in everybody's place in the world. This book has probably the best ending of any book I've ever read. It is my favorite ending. I think I even said in another clip, like, I've read it, this is my third time reading it, and I still teared up a little bit. Like, I know what's gonna happen, and it's still these scenes are so epic and just so incredible and so emotional, and they're built so well, so when you get to them, they're incredibly satisfying, and everything just feels so good. So I love it. I love this book. It's such an incredible first book, but I do think that the second book kind of might be my sneaky favorite. Like, the more I read through this series, the more I realize how great Words of Radiance is and how so many of my favorite moments happen in Words of Radiance. It's kind of funny because I always, like, retrospectively, I'm like always fondly remember The Way of Kings, but then when I'm actually reading them, I'm like, oh, but Words of Radiance. There's something about, I think on your first read, Words of Radiance feels a little lackluster, and pretty much everybody that I've talked to has like felt this way. But on like a second read, or even just like thinking about it a little bit more, people are usually like, wow, Words of Radiance was like actually really good. It's like, it sneaks up on you. It kind of sneaks up on you. That's The Way of Kings, and that's all the time that I have. I actually need to leave right now, so I'm gonna go, but I'm gonna go to the dentist. Hopefully tonight is good, and I will see you guys in the next clip. Bye. Okay. Hi. Hello. It's the next day. Update. Yeah, I went to the dentist yesterday, which was the best part of my day. Oh, okay, this guy has been begging for attention. This is Henry. I didn't get any reading done last night, so I'm like 200 pages behind where I'm supposed to be, and I honestly am so drained today that I don't know like how well this reading week is gonna go, which is so disappointing because it feels like I literally just started this challenge and I'm already failing it. I mean, granted, it was like a really big challenge, but it just sucks that something so out of my control is taking up so much of my mental energy, and it's preventing me from doing something that I was really excited about and that I think I would really enjoy. So that kind of sucks. But yeah, let's just move on. I want to post some more videos. I want to maybe do some more like positive videos just because it feels like a really negative time, and I'd love to be a point of positivity for some people. So fingers crossed about that. I'm gonna go now. I will see you in the next clip. Today. I look so good. I just got like super done up to go grocery shopping. Right? Like sometimes that's just what you need, okay? In these trying times, sometimes you just have to get dressed up to go to the grocery store. Okay, so it's Saturday. I think it is super safe to say that as of this week, I crazy have failed the challenge to read Words of Radiance in a week. That's my bad. I am still planning to read Words of Radiance, but I think I'm just gonna allow myself that like, it's okay, this week sucked, we move on, we go forward. I'm gonna make some cookies today, I'm gonna do the laundry, like we've already done a bunch of chores, we bought groceries and all the things, so for the rest of today, I'm just gonna relax, eat cookies, probably drink a lot of tea, I might play some video games, and I'm gonna read my book, and we're just going to relax, but that's like the current state of my mind. I feel like this has been a really messy vlog, and I am really sorry for that. There's a part of me that's like, do I just scrap it and like not even post it because I didn't really do a lot of reading and I like didn't really do a lot of stuff, but I think because it's my first vlog, I'm gonna edit it and just like throw it out there. You know, sometimes like honestly failure is part of the experience, right? Like I just need the experience of editing and getting comfortable with like filming this kind of stuff because I do really love these kinds of videos and I do want to keep doing them. This was just a very bad week to like start trying to do that. But anyway, that's the plan for the rest of today. And yeah, this is as tall as my tripod goes. and I'm like 6'1", so gonna have to get a taller tripod at some point. But let's make some cookies together. These are like my favorite cookies ever. They're technically like a sugar cookie, but they are a very special recipe with a special ingredient. They're really yummy. They're so fluffy that they end up basically being like a little cake in cookie form. Despite making this recipe like all the time, I do not have any proper like cookie cutters, not a single one. So I always just put flour on the rim of a glass and I just use that. I like them really thick, so if they're too thin, I'll like reject them and put them back in the pile. Okay, so I'm basically just gonna keep doing that on repeat forever, so I'm gonna move you because you are right in front of the oven and I need it. So see you guys when these are done and we can eat them. They're so good. I love them. And that was the very last thing that I filmed for this vlog. I honestly thought about ending this vlog with that as like the last clip because I think it's so funny to leave you on this like, and then we'll see the cookies together, and then it just ends and you never see anything. I thought that would be really funny, but then I was like, no, maybe I should say something. So I actually did make those cookies again for the other vlog that's up on my channel. So if you do kind of want to see how they turn out, you can go watch the 24-hour reading vlog and like see how they look. But honestly, when they're finished, they look exactly the same, just fluffier. They're really yummy. I really love them. I can tell you that by the end of the month, I did finish Words of Radiance, and I think upon my third reread, I have kind of definitively decided that Words of Radiance is my favorite Stormlight book. I just really love it. So many of my favorite moments happen in that book. It has so many great like highs and incredible character moments. I think when you reread the series, for a lot of people, Words of Radiance starts to tick up on their list. But I remember like the first time reading it feeling like Words of Radiance was gonna be my least favorite. There's something about it on a first read that I think it feels like a bit slower. It's definitely a slowdown in a lot of ways from The Way of Kings, but at the same time, like there's just so many memorable moments from that book, and it's honestly like a real banger. It's just so much fun to read. I think it's classic. I think it's iconic. I think it's really awesome. I don't know. I love Words of Radiance. Obviously, I went on to read Wind and Truth, and I will refilm and get the review up at some point so you can hear my thoughts about that. That is all that I have for this vlog. Let me know your thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts on Stormlight Archive. I do love it so much, and I hope that this vlog is peaceful and happy and good, and that you don't see too much of my stress and frustration come through in it, because that's truly what I was experiencing at this time, as I'm sure many of us were. So have a good one. Like and subscribe for more content, and I will see you guys in the future with another video. Bye.